name is Sarah. I'm a PhD student at Indiana University, and I study English, rhetoric, and composition. And lately I've been making a lot of vlogs and incorporating vlogs and video into my dissertation research. So recently I turned 27 years old in October of 2022. So I thought I would make a fun little video of 27 things I learned by 27. The first person I saw do this was Morgan Yates, so shout out to Morgan Yates. And I will go ahead and just jump right into it. So I have a little list on my phone here, and that's what I will be reading from. First things first, I wrote, prioritizing yourself and your mental health looks different every day. Sometimes it's pushing yourself to grind out the last 5 pages of a paper, and sometimes it's calling it quits. This is definitely something I have learned, especially in these past 4.5 years of my PhD program. Sometimes self-care means staying up late and working on finishing the paper so you can go to sleep and have restful sleep and wake up feeling good the next morning. But sometimes it means knowing that whatever you're working on isn't actually going to get done because you're so exhausted that you need to just go to sleep now. But prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your mental health looks different for every single person and looks different from day to day. So the second thing that I wrote down is waking up 1 hour earlier than usual makes a big difference. An extra hour in the morning can set the tone for a balanced day. And this is so true. I'm in my waking up early, going to bed early era. I don't know why it took me 27 years to get here. Hyper early. But it's great to be here. And waking up with that extra hour to just give yourself some time to like read a little devotional, read a book in the morning, and just really enjoy your coffee is something that's so great. I'm really lucky and I have a flexible schedule, so I don't have to be at work at like 8 a.m. which would require me to wake up at like 5 a.m. if I want an extra hour in the morning. The earliest I ever have to be in work is like 9, so having an extra hour is always something that's very doable in the mornings. Third thing is clean spaces make a world of difference. It's worth it to put your laundry away the same day you wash it. Once again, don't know why it took me so long to fully learn this, but I'm an Enneagram 1, so that means we're supposed to be like really organized. I don't know if I'm naturally super organized, but I love an organized space. I really thrive in a super clean environment. That's a goal that I have moving forward, to make sure I can like clean my room, at least pick things up once a week, especially on the weekends. And just waking up, especially in the morning, knowing that you don't see like piles of clothes all over the floor, just feels so great. Clean spaces are always worth the time. If you do your laundry, just fold it, just put it away so you don't have to sort through the basket for the entire week. Number 4 is I can't live a life without seasons. So I grew up in Miami, Florida, went to college in Gainesville, Florida, where we had like baby seasons. And now I'm living in Bloomington, Indiana, where the seasons are in full bloom, no pun intended. I'm looking outside my bedroom window right now at like a bright red tree. And seasons just really help break up like the monotony of life. And I just personally can't live a life without seasons. Now that I've known them for the past 4.5 years, I can't go back to winter being 80 degrees. Winter does suck, especially when it's like sub-zero, like even sub-20 sucks. But just seeing the leaves change, seeing the seasons change, it's just like, it's life as it should be. So that's personally for me. I can no longer live a life without seasons. Wherever I end up after grad school, I can guarantee that it will be a region that has seasons. Number 5, comparison is inevitable. Don't fight it, let yourself feel it, be aware of it, and then let it go. And I think that this goes for so many like negative feelings. I have found that so often in my life, I try to prevent myself from ever like feeling that negative feeling, and I'll do anything it takes to just like avoid it, especially with comparison, especially to, as anti-feminist as it sounds, to other women, to other YouTubers, to other PhD students, to other people in my field. I'm just like, oh, they're so great, they're so beautiful, they're so smart, they're so creative, I'm never gonna be as good as them. Instead of letting myself no, like, don't even go there, don't even go there. Just let myself feel those feelings, interrogate it a little bit, reflect on it a little bit, be aware of it, and then move on. Trying to fight these feelings, trying to avoid them altogether, in my personal experience, only makes them worse. Number 6, pajama sets make me feel like I have my life together. This is one that goes without saying. I love a good pajama set, stars above from Target, Amazon Essentials, love it. Love waking up in the morning in a nice little pajama set. Love going to bed, doing my skincare routine in a pajama set. I really just feel like I am on top of the world. Number 7, friendships look different at this stage in life, and that's okay. I still have my same best friend that I had since I was 12 years old in 6th grade. We talk every single day through text, through Snapchat. We're currently talking a lot about the Taylor Swift album. But I know that friendships look totally different. Since she's still living in Florida and I'm living in Bloomington, we obviously don't hang out nearly as much, but she is still my best friend and we communicate in the ways that work for our lives now. Same goes for friendships that I've made in grad school. I feel like friendships really go in seasons, and sometimes when your schedule is really free or your schedule is really aligned, you're hanging out a lot. One semester things can get really busy and you don't see each other as much. That doesn't mean that you're not friends. That doesn't mean that they're not prioritizing you. I feel like part of growing up and maturing is realizing that not that friendships come and go, but that friendships look different depending on what season that you're in. And it doesn't mean that anyone loves anyone less. It doesn't mean that anyone cares about anyone less. It really just means that schedules look different and timing is different and life changes and friendships just look different. Number 8, reading before bed is elite. That also goes without saying. I used to only watch TV before bed, but lately I've been reading just like a book for fun before bed, and nothing beats like your eyes just like slowly closing and like fighting to finish the chapter so you can get to a good stopping point. I feel like you just wake up feeling a lot more refreshed. I guess a lot of these things on this list are about sleep, but maybe that's what you come to value when you're 27. But yeah, reading before bed, if you haven't done it, highly recommend. Number 9, capturing small moments and big moments is so special and worth it despite people trying to tell you to just live in the moment. This is something I really struggle with being a social media girly. I love to take pictures, I always have. I love to take videos, whether or not I post them on TikTok or YouTube or anything. I just love to have them for my own memory. And I feel like so many times people will say like, oh, you're taking a picture, you're vlogging this, you're not living in the moment. I don't think that that's true. I mean, I think there are times if you're like really focused on getting like a super aesthetic shot or something, you're like not living in the moment, but aesthetics, I care about them as much as I need to. I much more value like authenticity, not that they have to be mutually exclusive, but anyway, people love to say that that's not living in the moment. There are times obviously when it's not like, where I'm not gonna say like, hang on, let me bust out my camera or my phone and document this. But there are ways to do both. I think you can absolutely document something and still be living in the moment. And personally, I feel like documenting something is a way of like being extra in the moment, and you have it to look back on, and no one is mad at me ever for being the one to go to who has pictures and videos of everything. People love having their big and small moments documented. Number 10, you can splurge on some things, but you can't splurge on everything. Know where to cut corners. I don't cut corners on skincare or coffee, but I do on fashion, I do on groceries, and I do on entertainment. So especially those of us who are in our early, mid, am I in my late 20s now? I don't know what I'm in. But I don't have an abundance of money, especially being in grad school. So you definitely have to cut some corners on some things. You can't splurge on everything. I get pretty bougie skincare, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm pretty bougie with my hair products. But I'm not gonna go out and like buy the Dyson Airwrap. And when it comes to groceries, as much as I would love to shop at like Fresh Time, which is like Bloomington's version of like Whole Foods or something like that, I know that I cannot afford that on a regular basis. So I will do a lot of my shopping at Kroger, a lot of the shopping at Sam's Club where you can buy in bulk. And as far as entertainment, I don't go out much. Spending money on alcohol is so expensive. I would much rather just like buy a bottle of wine and drink it at home with a friend or something like that. You just can't splurge on everything. You have to know what works for you, and you have to be able to cut corners in some categories. Number 11, learning new things can be fun and frustrating at the same time. Discomfort is productive. I have found this especially with technology. I used to be really against getting the newest iOS or like, I don't know, updating my computer, updating any type of software because I just didn't want to learn it. But I really tried to begin embracing that discomfort, knowing that it's productive, knowing that I'm working my intellectual muscles to learn something new, and it's productive, even if it's frustrating at the same time. 12, cookbooks are fun. Yes, you can find recipes on Pinterest, but it doesn't compare to a good cookbook. I stand by this. Lately, Megan, my roommate, and I have been buying a lot of cookbooks from Half Baked Harvest. She also likes Dessert Person. I like Chrissy Teigen. These cookbooks are just so great to have. It makes it so much easier than searching for a specific Pinterest recipe. Pinterest is really hit or miss, especially if you don't know the person who's posting it. But cookbooks, you just you learn their voice, you can see super beautiful images of what you're about to make. They're a lot clearer most of the time than Pinterest recipes are. So cookbooks, I'm in my cookbook era. Number 13, here's where we get a little bit heavier. God doesn't equal church, worship doesn't equal music, community doesn't equal Christians. I'm still figuring out what God means outside of a white, heteronormative, patriarchal context. But I know that God is not the angry, always watching, waiting to catch me messing up God I once was taught that he is. I know God is in all things. I know God is good. My God is kind. My God is accepting. My God is loving. My God is gentle. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. And more than anything, my God is safe. So I've been doing a lot of religious, as cliche as it sounds, unpacking of things that registered truly as trauma for me from my childhood and my youth. And this is something that I'm learning. I'm in the process of rebuilding what God means to me, what community means to me. I no longer identify as a Christian. I believe in God, which is the Christian God probably because that's what I was raised as believing. But it's really hard for me to identify as a community that has done so much harm and has been filled with so much hatred that's really come to light in the past few years. So yeah, really just figuring out what this means to me. And that's what 27 years have taught me. Number 14 sort of goes along with that. Purity culture harmed me in more ways than I realized. I never thought it could be a trauma, but it is, and I'm spending years undoing it. So a huge part of things that have registered as traumatic for me have come from purity culture. Not only just sex and sexuality, but just femininity and being a woman and gender roles, and that my purpose in life is to be a wife to a straight white man. And I'm spending a lot of time undoing that. So that sort of goes in line with the other one. Back into some lighter things. Number 15, buying one coffee a week won't kill my bank account. Megan and I have been doing Starbucks Fridays and I love to be here. I've also been going to more local coffee shops lately too. I love Soma here in Bloomington. I love Inkwell downtown, specifically the downtown location, and I'm fine. People love to tell you oh my God, getting coffee out is gonna ruin your bank account. $5 a week is not going to kill me for the amount of joy that it brings me. Number 16, the same event can register completely differently in different people's brains. If something was safe for another person, that doesn't mean that it was safe for you. And I've been thinking about this a lot in terms of siblings, how siblings can experience their childhood, even with the same parents in the same environment, completely differently. I think about this a lot in terms of my recent perspectives defense, which I've talked a lot about, which sent me into a series of panic attacks. It registered as truly horrible, a fight or flight experience for me, but everyone else in the room thought that it was great. That doesn't mean that it wasn't actually horrible for me. It just was registering differently to different people. It sounds obvious as I'm saying it out loud, but I think that's an important reminder. 17, yoga classes are worth the money. They're so much better than practicing at home. Recently, I've started going to a yoga studio here and it has changed me on a fundamental level. I don't want to go as far as saying yoga is my church, but yoga taps into a same level of spiritual community that I was getting when I was going to church here. And I love it. Also having an instructor who can modify things for you in the moment instead of just watching a pre-recorded video or working from an app or something like that is great. I pay $45 a month and I get 4 classes, which I think is a pretty good deal. The classes are all at least an hour long and I love it and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. 18, 27 years old means it's time for eye cream. I have been going through phases with eye cream. Lately I'm using the e.l.f. eye cream, which I guess goes against me saying I'm bougie with skincare because it's 10 bucks. But yeah, you can never really anti-age. All you can do is prevent aging. And I feel fine lines are really a sign of aging. Not that I'm against aging in any way. I have a lot of gray hair. I fully embrace my gray hair. I never want to dye the grays. I don't plan on dyeing them. But I'll keep my skin nice and tight and taut. So eye cream it is. 19, you're allowed to change your mind. This is something that my advisor told me when I was really going through it, changing the entire trajectory of my research. when I was in my exam year writing the prospectus, he just like looked at me via Zoom and was like, you're allowed to change your mind. And I almost started crying in the Zoom call because I was like, you're right. I don't know who told me that I just have to stick with one thing forever. Obviously, this doesn't only go for research, this goes for everything in life. You're allowed to change your mind whenever you want. You don't need a reason to change your mind. Because I want to is enough of a reason. And yeah, it's a really nice reminder. I'm allowed to change my mind. If I told someone I was gonna go on a date, I'm allowed to say, hey, I'm not feeling it. I'm allowed to change my mind. I'm allowed to change my mind with plans that I had with friends. Obviously be kind and let them know, don't just ghost them. But you're allowed to change your mind, and that's a good reminder to have. 20, if you're feeling blah, you probably haven't been outside enough or had enough water. Maybe this is just for me personally, but sometimes, I don't know, around like 4 or 5 p.m. I start getting like the feeling, and it means that I need to open a window. I need to go on my porch and lay in my hammock. I need to go for a little walk, or I need to drink some water. I need to drink some liquid IV. I'm just dehydrated. So some good old sunshine, some good old H2O will more than often do the trick for me. 21, real plants are better than fake plants. This is also the year of me getting some real plants. It started when Megan got me a friendship plant after I passed my exams a year ago, which was so sweet. And I was like, hey, this isn't too hard to take care of. And it just like looks so much better. I don't know, it makes me feel better having real plants. So then I got a few more real plants. We have some scattered throughout the house. I still have some fake plants, especially like the big ones that are so expensive to buy. But yeah, get a real plant or two. You can handle it. You're 27 years old. You can do it. You can take care of it. Pour some water every now and then. It will be fine. 22, there's no timeline for life, for relationships, for marriage, for children, for school, for dissertation, etc. If you would have told me 10 years ago when I was 17 that I would be 27 years old and not married, I would have lost my mind. I would have thought I had failed in life. I was absolutely worthless. What was my purpose if I wasn't a wife, if I wasn't a mother? Which is absolutely insane because 27 is so young. I truly still feel like a child. I feel like that TikTok sound was like, I'm just a baby. But yeah, I am just a baby. And 27 is seriously so young. There's no timeline for life. This is another huge cliche. This goes along with comparing yourself to others. Just because people your age are out, I don't know, buying homes, getting engaged, having kids, doesn't mean that you need to be. I know very few people who I went to high school with who are getting a PhD. This is a track that I'm choosing to take. And along with the PhD, a lot of people are farther along than I am because I was a little late in defending my prospectus, and that's okay. If I need an extra year to make the research really solid, to produce something I'm proud of, to ensure that I can get a good job out of this, that is okay. Adding 1 year to the timeline is not going to ruin the trajectory of my life. This timeline is my own. I can make it up as I go. Nothing's that serious. And that's on Celexa, my anxiety medication. 23, don't choose a path simply because it's a comfortable path. For example, I am trying the corporate world just to see if I like it. So I realized, I don't know, at the beginning of this past summer that all I have done is academia and all I've known is academia. And when I think about what job I want, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be an academic. It's gonna be staying in this field. But that's all I've known, literally since I was in kindergarten, since I didn't take a gap year or anything, went straight for my master's PhD combined program right out of undergrad. So I decided to get a job as a social media coordinator. It's still for a research institute within IU, but it very much feels like a corporate world. I only work 12 hours a week there. But it has been so eye-opening just to see like, is like the 9-to-5 desk job working in the marketing side of things, which has always been like my #2 dream outside of academia, the marketing field. It's been so great just to know, like, am I choosing academia because I'm actually choosing it, or am I doing it because it's comfortable and it's all that I've ever known? So if you are able to, I highly recommend getting a part-time job, doing some research, interviewing someone, talking to a friend to see what else is out there. And if you're choosing the path that you're doing because you're actually actively, agentially choosing it, or if it just feels comfortable and it's all that you've ever known and it's the safe path, the path of least resistance. Yeah, take a risk, even if it's minor. Just see what's out there for you. 24, everything goes in cycles/seasons. I talked a little bit about this with friendships, but also this is a really good reminder for me, especially when it comes to like skin, as silly as that is. If I find my skin just like really breaking out, I'm like, it's okay. This is how the body works. The body goes in cycles. I'll have a month where my skin isn't great, and that's okay, because then I'll have another week where my skin is great. Things go in cycles. That's a really nice reminder for me. That's really nice for fashion too, to really keep me from like overspending and trying to buy more like basic pieces. So it's just a nice little reminder, keeps me at ease. 25, white linens feel clean. If you couldn't tell from my white comforter, white pillowcases, I have white bed sheets. I was wearing a white robe as I got ready, did my hair and makeup for this video. I love them. They're so easy to clean. You could just put some bleach in there and they just feel so clean. Like when you get out of the shower and you wash your face with a nice white towel, there's a reason hotels have like white robes and white linens and stuff. It feels so clean. So yeah, silly, but elevating the everyday things of life. Highly recommend some white linens. 26, here's another heavy one. My body's my home. This is something I have spent my whole life probably thinking about, but the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I've thought about it a little more actively. This is something that my dissertation research talks a lot about: embodiment, the body as a home. What does this all mean? And I spent a long time trying to ignore my body. This body's just like baggage. This body's just a vessel for what really matters. And that's just not true. Your body is so important. Your body is yours. Your body is your home. I could make like an hour-long video podcast about this, but this is something that really just sums up this past year of thinking, especially, that you have to take care of your body. It's your home. It is so important. I feel like people are like, duh, this is obvious, but I don't know. If you've gone through any trauma, if you're a girly, if you know, you know. If it's not for you, throw it away. But for me, this is huge. And I wish someone would have told me years ago that your body is your home. That would have changed the trajectory of my life. 27, the final thing that I have learned in this last year is that vlogging is incredible. So yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, vlogging has become part of my dissertation research as I think about embodiment, embodied ways of writing, multimodal composition, and the things that I have learned from vlogging have been crazy. I feel like my confidence has grown so much being a vlogger. I've gotten so much more comfortable seeing myself currently on screen, seeing myself so long as I'm editing things, seeing myself as I watch my videos. I've met so many cool people just through Instagram, through email. I've Zoomed people in academic circles, truly all over the world. Vlogging has opened up so many opportunities. I have gotten so much free stuff, made minimal money, but more than anything, I have just like learned so much, and it's just brought me so much joy. When I think about like my biggest hobby right now, the thing that makes me happiest is truly vlogging. It's sitting down or it's standing up, it's making these little videos, it's editing them, it's being creative, it's replying to comments, it's watching other people's vlogs. I just love how people are making art out of their everyday lives, and I didn't know that vlogs existed until I came to grad school. Yeah, they're just incredible. So this is a lame way to end the video, pretty cheesy, but thank you guys for watching this channel, for helping me realize how incredible vlogging is, with its potentials, with its pedagogical possibilities, but also with its just like joy for my everyday life. Vlogging is wonderful. And that is all that I have learned. Not all, but you know, the highlights. Tried to keep it varied between some serious things, but also some lighthearted things. 27 things I've learned by 27. So if this video is enjoyable for you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Leave a comment. Tell me if anything resonates with you, if you have questions about anything. I'd love to chat more about any and all of these 27 things. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys in a video in the future. Bye.